he took the hot seat and he made Real Madrid the team that we knew. So credit to him. He just has all the courage in the world, all the character in the world, man. All right, what's happening, everyone? Welcome back to yet another episode of VMFC. My name is Alex Pérez. Thank you all for joining me one more week. I am so glad you haven't had it with me and you aren't fed up with all this stuff that I have been talking about. We have a great show, absolutely great show. We're going to talk about Erling Haaland's debut with Borussia Dortmund. Unbelievable. We're going to talk about Liverpool's dominance, unstoppable, and then Real Madrid. They're back. But before we begin, of course, we got to take care of the priorities. First and foremost, if you're not following us on Twitter and on Instagram, please do so. What are you doing? At Veterans Minimum. A lot of cool content comes out through Twitter and Instagram. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/veteransminimum, or on your search bar, Veterans Minimum Show. Give us a like. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/veteransminimum. You are watching this on YouTube. Where else are you going to be watching this? youtube.com/veteransminimum. Subscribe so you can get the full episode of VMFC, so you can get full podcasts, you can get segments, and likely a lot more now that the football season is coming to an end. So you're going to see a lot of cool new stuff. What else? The podcast, of course. The motherboard, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Subscribe. 2 episodes every week. Bet on that. And patreon.com/veteransminimum for $1. Only $1. This is all you have to do. $1 will get you exclusive content, early releases for these podcasts, merch, and some cool stuff for the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure the guys are going to announce that within these next couple of days, if it wasn't announced already by the time that this drops on YouTube. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what else? Let's get started. Like I promised last week, I said that I was going to keep up with the Bundesliga this weekend. And I wasn't disappointed because I followed one storyline in particular, and that was Erling Haaland and Borussia Dortmund. I wanted to check that out because, of course, Erling Haaland was expected to make his debut for Borussia Dortmund, his new team. If you guys don't know who Erling Haaland is, he is a 19-year-old Norwegian striker. He used to play for RB Salzburg. There are 2 RBs, Red Bull Leipzig, Red Bull Salzburg. Well, there's a bunch of them. But he played for the one in Austria, in Salzburg. He scored a hat trick on his Champions League debut, this kid did. The audacity on this 19-year-old. I wish I had those balls when I was 19. I'm talking like I was 19 years old like 15, 20 years ago. I was 19 like 2 years ago. But anyway, he attracted a lot of European elites, not just because of the hat trick, although it did have to do a lot with that, but he attracted a lot of them. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United. And Manchester United was, according to multiple reports, Manchester United was actually very close to signing him. But if you guys paid attention to anything I said last week, no one wants to play for Manchester United. So guess what? He ended up playing for Borussia Dortmund. I think there some directors or representatives for Manchester United were booking their flights, or they were getting their airplane ready to fly to Austria, and Haaland's like, yeah, no, it's not needed. I'm going to go to Borussia Dortmund. And they're like, oh, well then. All right. But anyway, he made his debut, and Borussia Dortmund had a very important game. This game that they played on Saturday was very important for multiple reasons. First and foremost, not only was it Erling Haaland's debut as a Borussia Dortmund player, Borussia Dortmund's fighting for the Bundesliga title. So they had to start off their 2020 with a win. There's no ifs, no buts. They had to start off their calendar year, with a win. 55 minutes into the game, they were down 3-0. I mean, it couldn't have gone any worse. It was bad. Borussia Dortmund wasn't playing well, and they were down 3-1. To be honest, obviously I don't really follow Augsburg. That's the team that they played against. I don't follow Augsburg much, but for whatever reason, they just strike me as a team that plays pretty well. So not too surprising that they were up 3-1 over Borussia Dortmund. But then, who comes on? Who's subbed on? Erling Haaland. He didn't start the game, to the surprise of many, and maybe some weren't very surprised. But he didn't start the game. He came on, and he scored 3 minutes after being subbed on. He scored 3 minutes after. And then he scored a hat trick within 20 minutes. I mean, you can't make this up. Really, you can't. This guy scored 3 goals in 20 minutes. The first and third goal were actually pretty good goals, great finishes. The second one, a tap-in, but whatever. We'll get into that a little bit later. What a performance. Jesus, what a performance. Borussia Dortmund ended up winning 5-3. Away. I forgot to mention that they were away. So, and the weather wasn't nice. Of course, Germany in January isn't nice. It's similar to here in the States. You have a lot of crappy weather, but Borussia Dortmund, away from home, 5-3 win. They keep their hopes alive, even to play Champions League next season. Erling Haaland had an excellent performance, and I don't just really say that. I don't just say that because of the hat trick. Of course, you can look at the stat sheet and say, well, he scored 3 goals in 20 minutes. Wow, what a performance! Sure, yeah, you can say that, but that's kind of lazy. That's very lazy, actually. Just looking at the numbers, looking at the stats. Stats don't lie. Yeah, sure, they kind of do sometimes. He had a great performance, not only because of the goals, but because of that boost that he gave his team. It's kind of crazy to think that a 19-year-old can give his team such a massive boost of confidence. And he really did, because the entire team seemed to play a little bit more relaxed as soon as Haaland came on. He eased a little bit of that pain that Borussia Dortmund was suffering throughout the first 55 minutes of the game. And it looked like the team was like, okay, we have someone that can finish off whatever we create. So that is a big advantage for us. You just have to feel much more confident once you have such a natural goal scorer who's just there, ready to finish whatever opportunity you give him. You have to feel that much more confident, and Borussia Dortmund, the entire team showed it. And props to Lucien Favre, the coach of Borussia Dortmund, for taking out Lucas Piszczek, the right back, and bringing on Erling Haaland. So, sometimes those substitutions, of course, you only make those substitutions. You take out a defender to bring in an attacker when you are down on the score. But it worked out just fine, and props to him. He recognized it, and it worked out. It worked out fine. But yeah, it looked like the entire team just rallied behind Erling Haaland. What really caught my attention the most was the second goal that he scored, which was, if I'm not mistaken, Borussia Dortmund's 4th goal of the game. That goal really caught my attention for one reason. Thorgan Hazard pretty much did everything. He took on the goalkeeper, and he really, if he wanted to, he could have just taken on the other defender and just slot it into the back of the net. But he didn't. He saw Erling Haaland made the run. He didn't take on the defender. He passed the ball to Haaland, and then Haaland was the one that tapped the ball in. And it shows that they really want this kid to succeed, so that if you're in a place where they want you to succeed, of course you're going to want to succeed even more. So I think Erling Haaland is in a great spot. That, again, the team just rallied behind him. Thorgan Hazard, incredible gesture by him. It shows that not only is he the better Hazard brother, he is a team player. So I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash. The better Hazard brother. What? I said what I said. All right, whatever. Jesus, all right. But anyway, it is just so rare to see a 19-year-old cause so much impact on his team, and Erling Haaland is exactly what he did, and he's probably going to be doing that for a long time, or as long as a bigger club doesn't come in and snatch him for like 60 million euros. I think that's the new clause that Borussia Dortmund put, because they know that Real Madrid was watching that game. Barcelona was watching that game. Manchester City was watching that game. PSG was watching that game. And they're like, ooh, this kid is good. They just confirmed that theory that he is a very, very good goal scorer. I mean, who scores a hat trick on their Champions League debut? Seriously. And a hat trick on their Bundesliga debut. Great finisher. deadly. He's very unselfish too. Very unselfish. I've seen him make a couple good passes, and even I think it was Borussia Dortmund's third goal. Jadon Sancho had the opportunity to pass it to Erling Haaland, and he just slotted it home. He did the opposite of Thorgan Hazard, and he didn't mind. He went and celebrated with Jadon Sancho, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, it seems like it's a great fit for Borussia Dortmund, Erling Haaland. And not only did Erling Haaland make his Borussia Dortmund debut or his Bundesliga debut, so did Giovanni Reina. And you guys might be asking yourself, well, who's Giovanni Reina? Giovanni Reina is the son of former U.S. national team captain Claudio Reina. And Gio, as they call him, he's an attacking midfielder. And he plays for the national team, for the young national team, the U17 or U15, whatever, but it's for the youth national team. And he's probably going to play with the seniors pretty soon, because he's kind of taking the road that Christian Pulisic took. So, Gio Reyna, he's putting U.S. national team on the map again. He's putting himself out there, I should say, representing the U.S. pretty well. So good for him. He made his debut. Of course, he only played like 20 minutes, I think, but regardless, he still played, and he's probably going to play an important part if any of these other players decide to get up and leave, because that's what they love to do at Borussia Dortmund. They get some success, and then they leave. They dash. So it was a good day for the youngsters at Borussia Dortmund and Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland, man, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy in 5-10 years is like a top goal scorer, or like he just becomes a record breaker, because by the looks of it, honestly, Erling Haaland has a very bright future. And not only does he have a bright future, he could probably become the Luis Suarez and the Robert Lewandowski and the Edinson Cavani of right now. He can be that in like 5 or 6 years. So pay attention to the Norwegian striker, because this guy, oh man, he's a lot of fun to watch. I want to take some time to talk about Liverpool, because what they've been doing this season has been just absolutely ridiculous. Seriously, it all started off with a 4-0 win against Norwich in the first game of the Premier League season, and since then, they haven't been stopped. This team is incredible. This team has been playing absolutely incredible. They haven't lost it at home in like 2 years, 3 years, I don't know. It's crazy. It is insane. How can this team not lose a game at home? And they've won every single Premier League game this season except for one. They tied against Manchester United on October 20th. They tied 1-1. Adam Lallana was the one that scored the late equalizer. And they actually faced Manchester United this weekend. A Manchester United that was weakened because Marcus Rashford has a injury in his back, so he's going to be out for a while. And Marcus Rashford is really the most important thing, the biggest threat that Manchester United has. So they faced the best team, arguably in the world, without their biggest threat. What did you guys think was going to happen? Well, exactly what happened. Liverpool had this game controlled from the start. Manchester United was not able to respond in any way, shape, or form. Liverpool just dominated. They dominated from the first whistle to the last. It was incredible, absurd that this game was 1-0 with 90 minutes played. I couldn't believe it. How can Liverpool only score one goal? They dominated in every aspect of the game. United had no response. They had no chance. Liverpool dominated. That's just what they do. They dominated. And then, of course, Alisson with the assist to Mohamed Salah. Alisson records his first assist, I believe, as a Liverpool player. So that means he has one more assist than Jesse Lingard all season. So congratulations to Alisson. And Jesse Lingard, what are you doing? Anyway. But dominant 2-0. Liverpool wins. Yeah, cool, whatever. let's not look so much at the result. Again, the result is just, yeah, it's important. Of course, it's very important. It determines whether you keep your job or you're fired or whether you get a better job or whatever. The result does matter. Don't get me wrong. But let's just take a look and let's backtrack a little bit at how Liverpool has dominated so much for these last couple of years. Because the way or the ways in which they win is exactly the reason why Liverpool has been so dominant. You take a look at how they played against Manchester United. They were pressing, they were possessing, they passed the ball really well, they attacked. Robertson, Trent, they attacked brilliantly through the wings, and everyone was on sync. Everyone was playing really good. To be fair, Liverpool is on sync, and they play pretty good pretty much every game. But against Manchester United, of course, you're going to highlight it a little bit more because it's against Manchester United. Not that they're very good, but they are Liverpool's biggest rival. That's really only one way that they can beat you. That's one way. Because they can win in a shootout. They can beat you 5-4. They can smack you completely and dominate you 4-0, as it should have been against Manchester United. They can drop back, defend the 1-0 lead like they did against Tottenham last week and in the Champions League final. They can beat you however they want. They're more physical than you. They're a little bit smarter than you. And it looks right now like they want it a little bit more than you do. Liverpool can beat you in any way, shape, or form. And that is exactly what makes Liverpool so great. It doesn't have to be a certain temperature. The sun doesn't have to be out. The grass doesn't have to be a certain length. It doesn't matter. They find a way to win. That is what makes Liverpool so great, and that is what makes them so unstoppable. And they also, ever since Jurgen Klopp arrived back in 2015, they adopted this one-for-all mentality. That's kind of what I call it. It's a one-for-all mentality because no one's really selfish in that team. You get a vibe sometimes that maybe Salah wants to finish everything off by himself, but he's corrected quickly. It's not like it becomes an issue. Sadio Mane had a bit of an issue with how Salah was doing things at the end of last season, and everything was corrected. So it looks like everyone has a common goal, and that is to win. They just want to win. This team just wants to win. That's another reason why they're great. They just want to win, and they find a way to win. Two things that can make you unstoppable. And then, of course, I mean, it doesn't really matter who they're facing. They'll impose their will, and that's what they do. That's exactly what they do. But you know what? I mentioned him right now. Jurgen Klopp, all the credit in the world for him. Because had it been someone else, maybe we wouldn't have seen this dominance that Liverpool has shown. It could have been maybe a somewhat of an immediate effect, because with Jurgen Klopp, it really wasn't an immediate effect. You didn't see Liverpool in the top four for like 2 seasons until 2 seasons after Jurgen Klopp arrived. So it took him a while, but you know what? When something takes a while, when something takes time, it just means that it's probably going to be a little bit more sustainable. And by the looks of things, Liverpool's project and the players that they have, it looks like things can be sustainable. So that's good for Liverpool. They have a coach. They have good players. It looks like they have it all figured out. You know, I remember after that Champions League final against Real Madrid back in 2018, everyone was clamoring for Liverpool to get a goalkeeper. Karius was not it. Mignolet was not it. So they're like, all right, who should we get? Oh, Alisson. Let's get Alisson. They get Alisson, and look at them. They win a Champions League. They know where they were lacking talent, or they knew where they were lacking talent. They went and they addressed that issue. They addressed that need. And that's exactly what they're doing. Now they just have depth pretty much everywhere. If Mohamed Salah isn't healthy, well, Shaqiri comes on. If Roberto Firmino is fatigued, can't play a cup game. Well, Divock Origi, or Origi, however you pronounce his name. You guys know who I'm talking about. Divock Origi. He'll play. Sadio Mane is hurt. Well, someone else. Who's going to replace him? Japanese guy that used to play for Salzburg. I can't recall his name. Minamito, something like that. If I got it wrong, I apologize. But he can replace Mane for whatever reason. It's just Liverpool is a team, is a project that has been so good, and that is probably going to continue to be very good. You want to talk about turning around an entire club. Jurgen Klopp was the guy that was at the head of this turnaround for Liverpool. And it's kind of scary because you don't see their downfall anywhere anytime soon. This team just keeps on winning. So Liverpool, I mean, if you're a betting person, might as well just put your money on Liverpool winning the Premier League. Well, maybe not the Premier League because you're going to get some pretty bad odds. But maybe winning the Champions League. Put some money on that. Why not? To me, they're the favorites. I mean, you can definitely get something if Liverpool were to win the Champions League. But this team is scary. This team is dominant. They can beat you anyway. They can beat you anytime, anywhere, any place. They can beat whoever. This team is good. This team is really good. This is the next dynasty in world football. So it's fun. It's fun to watch a team so dominant and have so much fun, because at the end of the day, Liverpool not only wins, not only do they dominate, but they have a lot of fun. That's what matters. Oh goodness, I can't believe I'm going to talk good about Real Madrid. Anyway, all right, Real Madrid. Last season was terrible. Being completely honest, last season was a total write-off. They didn't win any championships. They finished like third in La Liga, which is a total failure for Real Madrid and for their standards. To be fair, their standards are set very high every season, so finishing third in the league is just completely unacceptable. It was a revolving door at coach. They started off with Lopetegui. Then he was fired. They brought on Santiago Solari. He coached for a few months, and then he was booted after Ajax eliminated them. And Zinedine Zidane came back. So that was good. That was very good for Real Madrid. I always had respect for Zinedine Zidane because of what he did. Because of what he did that first time and what he's doing now. Because Zinedine Zidane, he's not a flashy manager. You don't study him like you study Bielsa, Guardiola, Mourinho, even Klopp. You don't really study their tactics. Study Zidane's tactics. He's a very coach. Just being completely honest. But that's what Real Madrid needed. They needed a very vanilla, I would say, coach to come back down to reality. They needed someone to instill those instill? Is that a word? I don't know. They needed a coach to bring back the basics to this team, because that's what they were lacking. There was a lot of innovation and a lot of smoke and mirrors and a lot of nonsense, just being completely honest. And Zinedine Zidane, when I say meh, I really mean he's no nonsense. He is good at the basics. His teams defend well. His teams attack well. His teams are good in midfield, and they don't lose the ball that easy, and they don't concede that many goals, and they score just enough to beat you. And they have a mentality that, boy, my goodness, that is an enviable mentality. They are winners. That's what they are. There's no other way about it. They are winners. I mean, it's no coincidence that they won 3 consecutive Champions Leagues, just being completely honest. It's no coincidence. You got to have the mentality of a winner, along with, of course, playing well. And that's what Real Madrid is doing again. Real Madrid is playing well again. They're getting results. They're not scoring 5, 6, 7 goals because they don't have to. They don't have to just beat the crap out of every single team that they face. Real Madrid, if they beat you 2-1, they beat you 2-1. I'll take the 3 points. It's all good. No worries. I'll take them. Cool. That's exactly what Real Madrid needed. They needed someone to reestablish those basics. And I mean, again, I just mentioned it right now. The results are showing. It's obvious. This team is improving. They're joint league leaders in the not in the Bundesliga, in La Liga with Barcelona. They're in the round of 16 of the Champions League against Manchester City. Yes, and these are here. I know we're about a month away from the Champions League to start all over again. Well, not all over again, for the round of 16 to start. But I'll tell you guys right now, Real Madrid is a team that plays so well under pressure. They are built to play with when the stakes are ridiculously high. Example, Champions League. Direct elimination Champions League. Because in the group stage these last couple of years, they're kind of like, whatever. As long as we advance, that's all that matters. But you just have to be very careful with this Real Madrid team. They're getting hot. They're playing well. They're getting results. They know how to win. They have experienced players. And I mean, this team, I'm telling you, they know how to win. They have that mentality. You just have to be very careful in these direct elimination games. That is where Zinedine Zidane thrives. When the other coach is outthinking himself. When he is overthinking, overanalyzing, Zinedine Zidane is confident that his players are going to do exactly what he asked for, and they're not going to try to overdo anything. They're not going to try to overcompensate. They're going to do what is required. That is it. That is why Real Madrid is good again. That's exactly why. Last season, it hurt that Cristiano Ronaldo was not there. No one could finish the opportunities that were created. But now, Cristiano Ronaldo's not there. Eden Hazard just played like 50 seconds. It's basically the same team. And Zinedine Zidane he's working wonders again. It's no coincidence, guys. I've heard a lot of negative feedback on Zinedine Zidane saying that he's not a good coach. He's a good coach, guys. Please. Let's just be completely honest. He's a good coach. He's a very good coach. He's just not very exciting. And then there's nothing wrong with that. Who cares? Who cares? Real Madrid just wants to win. Real Madrid is the type of team that it doesn't really matter how you win as long as you win. And Zinedine Zidane is doing that. He's winning. He's winning with Real Madrid. And credit to him, because when he left Real Madrid, I believe it was like June of 2018, when he left after that third Champions League, he said, you know what? I have nothing to prove. I'm out of here. And he came back like 6 months later, maybe more. Like 9 months later. And even if he didn't have anything else to prove, he took the hot seat and he made Real Madrid the team that we knew. So credit to him. He just has all the courage in the world, all the character in the world, man. He doesn't say much. He doesn't have to say much because he's a silent leader, and man, he imposes. He's a very imposing character. So Real Madrid back to basics, doing very good. Also, one more thing I have to add. It helps that Luka Modric, that Isco, that Kroos, that Casemiro are all playing very well. It definitely helps because, again, this team relies a lot on the midfield. And if those guys are playing well, Jesus Christ, that is such a massive help for this team. So, I mean, it's all the perfect storm. It's all coming to play for Real Madrid. And it's becoming a reality. It's all coming to fruition at a very good time for Real Madrid. So, good for them. Good for them. It's kind of hard to, and please don't get offended, Real Madrid fans, but it's kind of hard to keep this fickle fan base happy. I mean, if it's not one thing, it's another. It's just a very spoiled fan base. And I understand if you see your team winning the Champions League 3 consecutive seasons, and then the season after that third one, they don't even make it out of the round of 16. You're like, whoa, what the hell? What happened? I understand. So when I say fickle, I don't mean it as an insult. I just, it's whatever, because I hate Real Madrid. That's why I absolutely despise that team. So I have to jab you guys at some point, of course, in this segment. But yeah, whatever. Props to Real Madrid. I would be very scared if I was Manchester City, because Manchester City isn't defending very well, and Real Madrid, they can exploit all your weaknesses. So I'd be very scared. I'd be very scared for the remaining 15 teams in the Champions League. That's Real Madrid's competition, whether you like it or not. That is Real Madrid's competition. And if Real Madrid wants to, they'll just turn it up. They could be down 3-0. First leg. Second leg, they'll beat you 4-0. That's what Real Madrid does. They're built for this. So I'd be very, very scared. Super scared. Unless I'm Liverpool. If I'm Liverpool, then I'd be like, all right, it'll be a good game. So then the other 14 teams, not 15, the other 14. If I was the other 14 teams remaining, I'd be very scared. Very scared. Because we've seen it. We've all seen it. Real Madrid can do this at a high level. They can do this very well. I'd be scared. And I wouldn't be shocked if they go all the way to Istanbul in May. So, Madrid fans, if you want to start booking your flights for Istanbul, kind of crazy, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't think it's all that crazy. It's just kind of crazy, not all that crazy. Real Madrid, back to basics. They're winning. They're doing their thing. And you know what? It's good. It's good for all of soccer to have Real Madrid playing well, because, God damn it, when Real Madrid plays, you tune in. Well, that is it for this episode of VMFC. Thank you all so much for joining me yet again. That is 3 episodes already. Boy, oh boy, time flies when you are having fun. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at AlexPerezFC. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you want to talk about soccer, whatever, it doesn't matter. I am an open book. You can ask me anything, and I will not respond. No, I'm just kidding. If I didn't respond, I wouldn't give you all my social media. But anyway, at AlexPerezFC, if you want to get in touch with me, of course, all those plugs from the beginning of the show, go ahead and do that. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Sign up on Patreon to support this beautiful project that is Veterans Minimum. What else do I have to say? Nothing. Just thank you. Thank you all so much for the support. Thank you all for watching. And until next week, ladies and gentlemen, I am out. Take care. Goodbye.